Hello everybody and welcome, this is John from Quilled and Twisted, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a paper Elphaba from the hit musical Wicked, also known as the Wicked Witch of the West. And here she is in all her glory. I've decided to base her on the Act 2 dress. As you can see, she's also holding her magical book of spells, the Grimoire. So let's get started on this project. First you will need white strips, 30 centimeters in length and 6 millimeters wide. Slot it into the quilling tool, and roll it into a tight coil and then add in the next strip. Use about 30 of these. Once you're done, you can glue the end down, and I like to roll it out as though rolling dough. This puts all the strips at an even length so that they're easier to push into shape. I use my fingers just to push and roll this coil out into a nice cone shape. Then using PVA glue, I put a nice thick layer on the inside so that it retains its shape. Once it's dry, you can paint this black, as it's a witch's dress. This has to be black. For this, I used an acrylic paint. Any acrylic paint will do. My next step is to make the torso, so I take black strips, 3mm width, 30 centimeters in length. I use about 12 of these, and in much the same way as we did the base, we're going to push it into a sort of dome shape. While that's drying, we can then take 10 more black strips to roll into a tight coil. But this time we make it just a slight rounded dome. Once these are both dry, they should be able to slot together nicely. So I fill the bigger part 4/5 of the way with glue, a little bit in the other part, and they should just snap together easily. I like to set this aside to dry to make sure that glue has bonded the two pieces together. Once it has, I put a dab of glue on each of the pieces and hold them together probably for about a minute or so until that glue has bonded. Now, just to cover that gap where the two pieces meet, I like to put a ring of glue around, and then taking about 3/4 of another black strip, and I'll wrap that around. Just gives it a nicer finish. Next I took purple strips, again 3mm in width, but this time I tore the 30 centimeter strip in half. I roll it into a tight coil, and now before I glue it down, I'm just going to let it expand to roughly twice its size. You have to be very careful while doing this. Take our PVA glue and glue the end down. It only requires a very tiny amount of glue. Once you're satisfied with this, you can use the nail of your thumb and push into it and to make this loose coil into like a half moon shape. And then take my glue once again, apply it to the back, and then I can hold this onto the dress. I'm going to completely cover the base with these coils, and the whole process probably took about an hour, so you'll have to be very patient with this. After that, I then painted all the coils black, again with acrylic paint. I also made sure to do the inside so that it matches. taking a light green strip, again 3mm width, 30 centimeters in length, and this makes the neck piece. I took a further 10 strips of black paper to form the back of the head, which is why it was squished at the end. I did make a slightly smaller one with the green for the front of the face. Sadly, I forgot to press the record button on the camera, so I missed that part. Now here I'm starting to make the hair, so I took 3 strips of the black paper and I glued them end to end, and I tore further strips into quarters to make the pieces of hair that come off sort of like a bunting style. I roll these into a tight coil, glue the end down, and this is sort of going to be like a ponytail shape that will then roll into a bun later. So just some PVA glue to attach the head. I held these together for, again, about a minute, and you'll probably have to leave this to dry for a while because the surface area is so small, it needs quite a bit of time to bond fully and retain its strength. And attach the hair piece. And the fun part of styling the hair, so I just use a drop of glue for each strand. I insert one strip into the slotted quilling tool, and I roll that down into a tight coil and push that into the glue, and I hold that there just for a couple of seconds so that it'll stay there on its own. And I repeat this process for every strand of hair going around the shape of the head. Now, just a word of warning, this does look like a hot mess as you are doing this, but stick with it, it will look good in the end. So once you've done each of those, I then took 15 strips of black and rolled that into a tight coil. Now this is going to be the point for the witch's hat. So once you've got all 15 strips, you can then use fingers, tools, anything available to push it into a triangular cone shape. You have to be very careful not to push it too far, or your coils will separate and you'll have to begin the process again. Once you've got a suitable cone shape, coat the inside with the PVA glue so that it retains its shape. Of the hat, I glued a further 15 strips end to end to create one very long strip of black paper. I then glued one end to the very bottom of our cone shape. Like so, and now I will roll this piece by hand. A little bit more fiddly when you've not got the tool, but so once you've got all of the strip rolled on, I push it onto a flat surface to make sure that that's all level. I can then flip it over and coat the brim in another layer of PVA glue so that that will retain its shape. Once it's dried and completely clear, then you can then put a ring of glue just on the inside of the hat. and then place it on the witch's head, and I like to put it at a slight angle just for aesthetic reasons. Now, I find that while this is a good witch look, it's a little bit too plain for me, so I like to take some glitter glue. I love glitter glue. Here I have a black glitter glue from Glitz It, and it's got multicoloured sparkly glitter bits inside. I just squirt some onto a post-it note, and then using a paintbrush I will just dab this all over the dress and the hat. So it's all going to be very, very glittery. It is very sparkly, but I think it's a little bit too much. I just wanted a hint of sparkle just to catch the light as you hold the piece up. So I'm taking a very, very tiny amount of black acrylic paint, and I'm dabbing the majority of that off the brush so that it's very dry, and I'm just lightly pouncing on top of some of the glitter. It's not to cover it all, it's just to make it look a little bit more subtle. So as you can see here, the dress is still sparkly, but it's a lot more subtle in comparison to the hat. And this is the kind of look that I prefer. If you prefer to have the very, very sparkly look, by all means skip this step. So I'm just going to make the hat match what I've done to the dress. Once that is done, I then took a purple glitter glue. This is Grape Crush from Stickles. Stickles glitter glue by Ranger. Now, Stickles is brilliant. You can squirt it into any shape, and the consistency is thick enough that it will not run while left upright. So any of the swirls or patterns that you do on this dress, they will stay there until they are dry. Squirt this into any decoration you like. As you can see here, I opted for a swirly pattern. Just have to be very careful that I don't put my thumb in any of the glitter that is still wet. Once you're happy with your pattern, you can set that down to dry. Now it's time to make the Wicked Witch's magical book, the Grimoire. So to do this, I took strips of a cream coloured paper and I cut them to approximately 2 centimetres in width, and I folded them in sort of like an S style. I then took a purple piece of card and painted it with the liquid pearls in the garnet colour. And very simply using PVA glue, glued my inside pages to the purple side of the card. I just smooth out any drops of glue that are showing across the pages. cut off the excess card. Now here I've got some tweezers, so I'm just going to grip the book with these tweezers. This will hold the pages together until they are dry, and it will also serve as an easy way to hold it while we add some detailing. So to add the detail, I'm going to take, again, liquid pearls in the gold colour. You can see I've added a fine nib to this one. And you can add any kind of details you might want on this. You might prefer to put a shape on it, like a star. I just prefer to make the corners have a little gold L shape and a little bit for the spine. I then set that down until it was completely dry. Once it is dry and it holds its shape without the tweezers, I can then just push this under Elphaba's arm. That would stay there on its own, but just to secure it I like to add a little bit of glue behind it. And then take 2 half strips of the light green colour and make teardrop shapes to form her hands. So at this point, after approximately 4 to 5 hours total, I have my finished Elphaba piece. She's very sparkly, very magical. I love this piece. Here's some photos of the finished product. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.